It is very bright.
It is. Tell you what, hooded beanies.
I know. I was gonna say, get this little visor. I'm actually really jealous right now.
It didn't last very long. They only made them for like a couple of years.
They're kind of weird looking.
So you can tell how old I am.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Bryce.
And we are building a modern house.
We're trying.
Hopefully building a modern house. We want a cool contemporary house and we need a workshop, but we have an impossible budget. So that means we have to get really creative and be prepared to roll up our sleeves and do some of the work ourselves. It'll be hard, but it will be worth it. This video is brought to you by presenting sponsor Simpson's Strong Tie. It's taken us a long time to get to this point, but we are finally making some serious progress on the house. Today, I'm going to step you through prepping the land, getting our pad built up, and getting our concrete foundation poured. When we bought our land about 1.5 years ago, there was not much to it. The natural desert vegetation had been removed by a previous owner, and the ground had more or less been scraped level. To anyone who's not familiar with this part of the country, this probably looks like the surface of the moon to you. I understand. Although it would have been really nice to have maybe a few plants left over, starting with a blank slate makes the job of building much easier. If we kept our building pad completely flat, eventually we would have problems with flooding and drainage. It doesn't rain very often in the desert, but when it does, we often get flash floods. Our building permit from the county required that we build up an elevated pad 18 inches above adjacent grade. With some help from our general contractor, aka Bryce's dad, we marked out the boundaries of our property and then staked out the required setbacks so we would know where the grading and excavation contractor needed to build the pad. We have family friends who own a large, heavy construction company, and they offered to come over on the weekend and help us out.
We are building our pad, so we've got a couple pieces of big, heavy equipment out here.
We're not building our pad.
Well, we're not. We're watching the pad be built. But these guys are moving the dirt around, making sure it stays wet, getting us a good compaction, and building up to our grade. So they're going to build it up a few inches above the natural grade of the ground, make sure it's good and level, and then we'll get it all nice and packed down so we can build a slab on it.
The Phoenix area is kind of unique. We actually were required to get a dust control compliance permit from the county before we moved a speck of dirt. Making sure our soil had the right moisture content was critical to make sure that we got enough compaction. We don't want the ground shifting once we have a heavy house built on top of it. So we had our pad all built and level and beautiful, and then we found out from the county that we actually needed to move the entire house and shop back 15 feet. Thankfully, Rob and Josh from Red Hawk Construction were following me on Instagram and offered to come to my aid. So we started moving our land, building up our pad, and then we started the permit process, which we thought was going to go much faster than it did. That's a big headache. So, but it's done.
Just a little headache that took us months to deal with.
Right. So that's done. So we've got permits. We're ready to move forward. So that's what we're doing. We've already got our pad rebuilt. Yeah. And now we're digging. So,
not by hand though. We got a tractor for that.
We hired a tractor.
We hired a tractor for that. We did.
We're starting on the foundation right now, and we are doing a slab foundation made out of concrete. And what did they dig right now? It's the stems?
The footers.
Let's go dig them.
All right.
So with the initial site work finally done and the pad built, it was time for our concrete contractor to come in and start digging for the footings of the foundation. By far, the most commonly used foundation type in our part of Arizona is a slab on grade. Exact foundation requirements vary a lot from building to building, but here's the basic idea. The contractor starts by digging and pouring a concrete footer in the ground. The size and depth of the footer is determined by a structural engineer. Directly on top of the footing, a vertical stem is poured next. Before the stem can cure, a J-shaped steel anchor bolt is inserted. Next, the area within the perimeter of the stem is graded, and an aggregate or gravel layer is spread. At this point, the flat slab of concrete is then poured. Later, when the walls of the house are constructed, the anchor bolts will protrude through holes in the bottom plate and be secured with washers and nuts. Eventually, flooring can be attached to the concrete slab, unless you're like us and you decide to leave the slab exposed. People are probably much more familiar with different types of foundations in other parts of the United States. A basement foundation is actually pretty similar to a slab foundation, but with much taller stem walls and floor joists making up the floor of the main living area. Another very popular option is a crawl space foundation. With a crawl space foundation, wooden floor joists sit on top of wooden girders which are attached to the stem. What are these called, Bryce?
This is a strip footer. So this is follows the perimeter of the house, and then we've got a spread footer over here. So this is for a larger concentrated area. So heavier loads in the corner.
And we passed inspection, so that means pour day is this afternoon.
Yep.
Within the design of our house, we have a few areas that have a high amount of concentrated load. That means a large amount of the weight of the house is concentrated into a few areas. So that means in addition to strip footers around the perimeter, we also needed a few very large spread footings poured. Once the footings were in place, the concrete contractor came out and assembled vertical frames to pour the stem. The stem was poured around the perimeter and reinforced with a healthy amount of rebar. While pouring the stems, we made sure to include several Simpson strong tie strap tie hold downs, which will be attached to the framing that's coming later. At this point, it was time to address some of the other housing components that would be run under the ground, like plumbing and electrical. So we're sitting in a very big hole that we just dug.
Yes.
We got to play find the water this morning.
Yeah, our water line had a stub out right over here, but there was no water in it. So we started digging, chasing the line to find out what the issue was, made it all the way back around behind us, and found out that the main was never connected.
Yep.
So
we have a shared well, and we were told that we were connected to the main line. We weren't. Not the end of the world. We can connect it because at least we found the connection.
Yep, so we can hook it up. We just had to spend an afternoon digging.
Morning.
Whatever day it is.
Eventually, we were able to connect the water to the supply, and then the plumber could come out to run his waste lines. So, remember how we spent all that time and money building our pad and paying for a compaction test and making sure it was all flat and level and beautiful? And now it looks like
we dug a hole in it, a lot of holes in it.
Testing bombs. It's scary. So our plumber just came and he ran all the lines. So now we have like giant trenches cut through, well, not through, underneath where our pad's going to be.
They'll backfill this all in at about this height, and then they'll add 4 inches of AB.
A stand for aggregate?
Yes, aggregate base course, ABC.
All right, and then when this is filled in, then we'll have our slab on top.
Yep.
A few days later, a fleet of concrete trucks showed up very early. I can't feel my hands.
It is cold. It is really cold out here today.
Slab day, concrete day.
Concrete day.
We're getting a floor,
yep.
Finally. And the guys were really early and really fast.
Yes.
So we pulled up and they were already, pretty much the house was done.
Well, poured and screeded. And then they just finished troweling.
They just finished the workshop, or detached workshop, and now they're just finishing up on the garage.
Yeah, well, they're pouring the garage right now. And they'll be done with this in the next 10-20 minutes.
It went really fast.
Yep.
Concrete is very time and temperature sensitive, so it was all hands on deck once the truck started dumping the material for the slab. Our concrete contractor knew that we planned on leaving the slab floors exposed, so they put extra effort into finishing the concrete. I know it's a weird thing to say, but we have some of the prettiest concrete I have ever seen. The next morning, the concrete cutter came out. Okay, it's really noisy, but what's going on right now is we have somebody out here using a diamond wet saw to cut relief cuts into our concrete slab. The idea is with the relief cuts that if there's any changes in the dirt or the moisture in the concrete, that cracks will form on those relief cuts instead of just right down the middle of our slab. Fingers crossed, that's the idea. He's doing a really good job, so I'm sure we're not gonna have any problems, and I'm really glad that we will have those. At this point, our foundation is done. The most critical part of a structure is in. We did a lot of shopping around, and no matter what we did, all of our concrete bids came way over budget. Additionally, I mentioned in episode 1 that the county is requiring that we pave the entrance to our neighborhood. So that is a huge additional cost that we were not expecting. So at this point, we are about 13, something around there, around $12,000 over budget, which is a lot of money. And so we're gonna have to try to make that up somewhere else. The build is starting to get real, guys, so make sure that you're subscribed to the Pneumatic Daddick channel because the pretty stuff is coming soon, I promise. If you want even more information about the build of our house and to see what we are working on day to day, make sure you're following us on Instagram. Instagram is the platform I am the most active on, and I'm almost always sharing stories about the good, the bad, the ugly, and all the stuff in between when you're building a custom house. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section. I read every single one. If you like useful DIY ideas, check out this video. And this one as well. As always, thanks for watching, guys.